Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
And we welcome you, everybody, to the ballpark. And what a beautiful day it is here at the ballpark. And does this park look gorgeous or what?
Man, I haven't seen it in a while.
Man, oh, man. Frangie Carlyon and La Selva with you. I haven't been here since last year. Right now I'm looking at a picture right over your shoulder of Tom Seaver, God rest his soul. He pitched here in 1966. I love this ballpark. Reagan Field here, the ballpark. I just texted Ken Babby before we came on how gorgeous he looks, and I could tell by his response how excited he is about it. It is absolutely beautiful. They've redone the right field area. The high wall now, you see the yellow line. So even with your power, Carlyon, if you go the opposite way, you're going to have to get into one now. To let the ball travel, lift it, because it's all
high, about launch angle.
It really is, with you for sure. And but the thing is absolutely beautiful here. Florida and FSU get together, one of my favorite nights of the year. Gosh, what a gorgeous night. And you know this. They'll pack this place now.
Oh, yeah. They're already out there tailgating.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
We packed, and the tailgating has already begun. The
earlier first pitch than normal.
You were saying that before. I think that it's a 6 o'clock first pitch, and I think that's correct, because I didn't think about it till you said it. But usually while we start doing the show, now look, we've been on at 3 o'clock before too, which is part of it.
Point.
But we usually they're just coming in. But it's a 6 o'clock first pitch. Gators and Noles here, and we are really excited about it.
Noles on the field now.
Noles are on the field taking BP now. The Gators will take BP, which tells me I think the Noles must be the home team here. The Gators will take BP afterwards. And by the way, if you're watching on the stream, is that picture okay?
That's pretty good.
Look at that view. That beautiful ballpark behind us. So if you're watching on the stream, hopefully you're enjoying what you're getting to see here. So, but we are excited about being at the ballpark. Florida and Florida State. The stories of these teams both started out great. FSU 15-0 before Florida beat them. Florida started out 13-1, 13-2, but has just been hammered in 2 SEC series. Now, possibly the 2 best teams in the country, Tennessee and Georgia, ranked 1 and 2 in some polls, but have just hammered the Gators 2 series in a row. Florida's 0-6 in the SEC, but they're pretty good out of the SEC, and 1-0 against the Noles, who were very good, who just hammered Miami. They hammered Miami the first game. Miami won the second game.
I'll have to look and see.
Yeah, I don't know who. JJ, you don't know who won that series, do you? FSU Miami?
No, after we got 10 run ruled in the first game, I stopped paying attention, but I'll find out.
But I think Miami won the second game. I should know that, and I don't, so we'll certainly check that out. But nonetheless, we certainly are Florida and FSU. Doesn't matter what the record is or what they've done so far. It is interesting that Florida's already played Georgia, and FSU's already played Miami.
Yeah.
So it's not like rivalry games are going to be new to these guys.
And they both did split with they both won 2 out of 3 against Miami. Okay, so Miami did win the second game.
Yeah, so FSU and Florida both beat Miami 2 out of 3. But then again, Florida's been good. Florida's 3-1 against Miami and FSU, but 0-6 in the SEC, which is good in everything, including baseball. So we'll certainly talk about that.
And an exciting first pitch tonight at the ballpark.
Yeah, we're first. Mayor Deegan's going to be out there throwing. Mayor Deegan's going to be one of the 2 folks throwing the first pitch out. So it'll be good to see Mayor Deegan out here representing, and she does a great job of getting out to all the sporting events. But she will be joined by a 7-year-old from Walk Off Charities.
That's awesome.
And it really is really exciting. All in full Walk Off Charities gear. And so we're excited about that. So Walk Off Charities and the mayor together throwing out the first pitch tonight. Which, we're real excited about that. And we're honored that thank you to the Gator Bowl folks who put this event on. Greg McGarity and Katie and their team for asking. They reached out to Walk Off. Number one, they provided a bunch of tickets for our kids. So a lot of our kids will be out here tonight. Kids that ordinarily would never come to a game like this. That's cool. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of our kids will be out here. So thank you to the Gator Bowl for reaching out and offering those. And that wasn't us making a request. That was them reaching out and saying, hey, let us help you out a little bit. So a lot of our kids will be out here watching, including one of our 7-year-olds throwing out the first pitch. So that is really, really cool stuff. So we're excited about that. So, all right, a lot of things to talk about. We'll certainly talk. Jeff Cardozo stops by in about 10 minutes. He'll talk about that tough start for the Gator baseball team. It's been a rough start for the Gator baseball team. There's no question about that. So we'll talk with Jeff. That comes up in about 10 minutes or so. We'll talk a little bit more Sweet 16 coming up today on the program. We'll get closer and closer to what this will mean for the really not just the Gator football, the Gator basketball team, but the Gator athletic department. Well, certainly that's an exciting time as well. I'd still like taking some more sneak peeks at the draft. We're inside of a month now. There's no doubt about Cam Ward anymore. Now now he's going to have a private workout with it. Have you seen this? Is he going ahead and moving to Nashville?
He should.
Go ahead and buy. Look, go get somewhere near Broadway. It's a lot of fun.
Right.
You might as well move. I mean, I think and I said this yesterday, but not as emphatically as I'm about to say it right now. Hays, I think we went from, in that scenario, mystery about the number one pick to suddenly less mystery about the number one pick to there hasn't been this little mystery since Trevor came out. Do you feel that way?
I don't think it's quite that airtight. The Titans said today through sources, ESPN has this, that while they like Cam Ward, but they're still holding out hope that they're going to get dazzled with a trade offer. So, we'll see. It seems pretty clear that their GM, Mike Borgonzi, is still hoping that one of these clubs is desperate enough to give them a couple first-rounders and probably a couple second-rounders at a minimum to move up and to take Cam Ward. So I think Cam Ward's going number one, to your point. That would really surprise me at this point if he is not the first pick. But it seems like Tennessee is at least still trying to play the game of, hey, let's see if one of these other clubs maybe does something that a lot of people may think on paper is kind of dumb, but we'll see. So, but I think he probably ends up a Titan. I think it's what the Titans should do, and he definitely helped himself yesterday with a very strong pro day. And yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm sure the Titans will want to work him out privately. I would think the Giants will. The Browns, if they're doing their homework, will as well. So we'll see. But you gotta love Cam Ward's confidence.
I'll say this too. And it always happens. I don't know why we always act surprised or ever act surprised, because quarterbacks always, right about now, start to soar. Quarterbacks start going north right about now on these draft boards, so I don't know why we would ever feel or act surprised by it. But once again, here come the quarterbacks soaring up the draft boards, Hays. It seems almost abundantly clear to me now that Mason Graham's going to be there. Now, if that's the Jags pick, and again, we assume we act like we know these. We have no idea what they want to do. But if our assumption is correct that Mason Graham is the guy they've wanted all along, or if they like him as much as we tell them they should like him, I guess that's kind of the point, right? If that's the case, then I think there's no doubt. I mean, because if Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter don't go in the top four, then we'd all be shocked. So if the two quarterbacks jump up there and Mason Graham's your guy, you're going to get Mason Graham. I mean, I guess that's maybe we've underplayed that a little, I guess is the point. All the draft following world, not just us or not just our station, but the draft following world, Hays, seems to have underplayed. Wait a minute now. If Shedeur goes up there, if Shedeur Sanders goes up there, and Cam Ward's already up there, and Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are generational or close to it, well, then Mason Graham's there, right? I mean, that's what am I missing? He's there.
Yeah, he's there, or Hunter or Carter are there.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, so, which obviously would be an outstanding situation. To me, I think we're about a week away, 10 days away from the conversation becoming, will Jackson Dart go in the top four? Because I think you're already seeing Shedeur Sanders. Early in the process, it was teams don't like him. He rubs them the wrong way. He might fall into the teens. There's less of that now. I think you're going to start to see a lot of talk about Jackson Dart, and it's not even so much about the player. It's just about the economics of the NFL. Let's just take the fifth pick, for example, where the Jaguars are selecting. Last year, that was Joe Alt, a right tackle that the Chargers selected. His rookie cap number was $6 million. This coming season, it's $7.5 million. Next year, it's $9 million in 26. That's so reasonable when you're talking about a quarterback. The Colts just paid Daniel Jones $14 million. They're not even sure if he's going to be their starter. So when you look at it, if you're a team that needs quarterback help, it's not as penal as it used to be to take one of these guys in the top five, pay him a ton of money, and hope that they were right. I think you're going to see, again, I don't know that it will happen, but I don't discount Jackson Dart going in the top four of this draft, because Cleveland needs, we know Tennessee does, Cleveland needs a quarterback. I don't think they shouldn't have any hope of Deshaun Watson ever doing anything good for their franchise. And the Giants absolutely have to have a quarterback. And then you've got the Saints at 9, the Steelers at 21. Could they make a move up the board to go get a guy? I think when you look at it, it's worth the gamble. Even if you don't believe Jackson Dart is necessarily a top 5 player in this draft, if you don't have a quarterback, the cost, you're paying him nothing compared to the $55 million a year that these franchise quarterbacks are making. So if I can take a risk on Jackson Dart and pay him $6 million, $7.5 million, and $9 million for his first 3 years, it's worth the risk if I don't have a quarterback. So don't be surprised. The draft process always has roller coasters in terms of the storylines. Quarterbacks moving up is always a big one. But I think you're going to see a very extreme case of it this year just because of the desperation for some of these teams. There's not enough veterans to go around. You've got basically Kirk Cousins, who you have to work out a deal with Atlanta. And you've got Aaron Rodgers, who you've got to deal with the personality that comes with Aaron Rodgers. And, oh, by the way, he is now well into his 40s. So some of these clubs may be looking at it and say, look, what about Jackson Dart? What do we think of Jackson Dart? Because you have him for a couple years, and if it doesn't work out, he can become your backup. You move on. It's not as much of a killer as it was when Cam Newton, Sam Bradford were coming out of college, and you were handing these guys $60, $70 million in guaranteed money, which on that cap at that time, I mean, now would be the equivalent of giving Cam Ward $100 million in guaranteed money before you know he can play it all in the NFL.
And to that end, I will tell you this, and I said this all. Apart from all the economical reasons why it makes more sense to go get a quarterback early now, the point you just made, and you underscored it perfectly. But in addition to that, I think he's pretty good. I think he's today's quarterback. Quarterbacks that play in that up-tempo, fast, college-friendly passing game scare teams. I know that because the NFL is different. Not as different as it used to be. I don't know that the NFL and college football have ever been more similar than they are now. But there's still some differences, and none of that scares people. But he's athletic as heck. He's got a big arm. He's tough. He's been well coached. I will tell you, the 3 best quarterbacks I saw and I didn't see Shedeur Sanders a lot, but I've told you this all year long, and I'll stand by. Cam Ward is the best quarterback I think any of us saw all year long. I don't think that's a surprise. But I will tell you, Jackson Dart and Garrett Nussmeier, for my money, were really underappreciated players. They were 2 of the best guys I saw. I'm shocked Garrett Nussmeier didn't come out, and I think he's going to be the first pick next year. I'm shocked he didn't come out this year. I didn't love Drew Aller at Penn State like some people did. I thought he was overrated. But I thought Nussmeier and again, Cam Ward was the best guy. But I thought Nussmeier and Jackson Dart were probably, in my mind, 2 and 3. I thought they were fantastic, fantastic players. So we'll talk more about that coming up in the draft. We'll talk some Sweet 16 coming up in the draft. All that coming up in just a bit. But when we come back, let's welcome in our friend Jeff Cardozo. He's the radio voice of the Florida Gators. He joins us after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Buckle up your chin strap.
Blitz! You gotta blitz them!
1010XL.
You blitz all night!
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
We are gonna blitz like Dick Butkus.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or cater desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
One thing that separates Beard's Diamonds from those other jewelry stores at the town center, no one's paid on commission.
Nobody at Beard's is on commission. That's more of your corporate stores that pay commission.
Beard's owner, John Lupo, says that means no pressure, no hidden agenda, no extra markups.
And you're getting a better deal. You're not paying the corporate commission. You're not paying the salesperson's commission. But if they're paying your salespeople commission, you're starting off in a hole.
And that's why you feel like a number at most jewelry stores, because it's all about making the sale, but not spot at Beard's.
Because it's a corporate atmosphere and they want to sell you what they want to sell you. We're here to sell you what you want. Our salespeople can do whatever they want to make sure that the customer is happy.
So relax. At Beard's Diamonds, they have all the things you want, like quality education, selection, warranties, and none of the stuff you don't want, like pressure and tacked-on commissions.
Nobody's making an extra 5 or 10% on Beard's customers.
Beard's Diamonds, the town center's only locally owned jeweler.
We sell better merchandise, better product for less money, guaranteed.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast orthopedic specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast orthopedic specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast orthopedic specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast orthopedic specialists.
When persistent plumbing problems leave you feeling flushed, don't panic. Call Roland Reich. They quote all pricing in advance, so your only surprise is how quickly they'll solve your issue. Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione. Campione Law.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance painting.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days than bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find Scratch Kitchen that always comes in the clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktail shots, and more. Come on, somebody.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency, or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
All right, we thank our friends from the Nimnick family of dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet on Cassett, Nimnick Buick GMC on Phillips Highway. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon here. Our buddy Jeff Cardozo joins us now, the radio play-by-play voice of the Gator baseball team. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. Good. Good to see you again. Been a few weeks since we saw you in Jacks. I guess I got to come to Jacksonville to hang out with you guys. Exactly. So I got to do this more.
It's good, great to see you. And, look, tough times. And we talked during the break a little bit. The worst break you can have is you lose your Friday and Saturday starters, and you start with maybe the two best teams in the country, which is hard. That's tough ball there, but you're there for all of it. What do you make of what you've seen?
Yeah, and I thought that coming home against Georgia, you'd be able to see and if they could figure it out and what was going to happen. But to lose all three at home, that never happens. And I think that's what really shows you, there's a little bit of trouble going on right now. But I think you're exactly right. I mean, Peterson, the first 4 innings in Tennessee, he looked lights out, like could be the best pitcher in the draft next year, like a lot of people were saying. And then came out in the 5th. He was still 96, but just didn't feel right. So he got out of there and hasn't felt good for a couple of weeks. So hopefully he's going to be okay. And then, not having Coppola now since the first couple of weeks, that's really then forced other guys. Your guys, Guy Aiden King up here, he's actually been really good. He was tremendous in Tennessee. 6 innings. He only gave up 1 run. That was just the game Florida couldn't score. And then he had 1 bad inning against Georgia. That was it. Otherwise, he's been really good. So it's almost like all of a sudden now you have a freshman as the best pitcher on your staff.
What do you think offensively is going on with them?
It's part of a struggle, too. And I thought after Knoxville, where Florida didn't hit it all that well, and again, facing really good pitching, Tennessee had the best pitching staff in the country, numbers-wise, going into that. And then you had the 2 get-right games in the midweek. Reverted right back against the Georgia pitching staff that had been not really good. And, sometimes that's the way it goes. They were actually throwing strikes where the first couple of weeks Georgia's pitching staff didn't. So I think it made all the difference in the world. But I think part of that, too, Hays, is, when you're falling behind and you're like, oh, my gosh, we're now 0-4 in the league, then they start pressing a little bit and they're trying to do too much. And you could tell they were getting out of their swings. And Georgia scored early and often in every one of those games. So I think that makes it hard on an offense to have to deal with that.
Back to Peterson, Jeff, for a second. For people that don't know, Liam Peterson is a hard-throwing right-handed, a sophomore that was one of the best pitchers in baseball, in college baseball, to your point. And I hate to say it, bro. Who knows? We're not doctors. But when hard-throwing pitchers say elbow discomfort, it means Tommy John, and I hope that doesn't happen, but we all follow the game, man.
Sure.
When a hard-throwing right-hander or left-hander, a hard-throwing pitcher says elbow discomfort, that's it usually, and that's a dagger for them if that's the case.
It would be huge, and I know Florida's had some injuries over the last few years, but again, D1 Baseball America said he was the number 1 pitcher in the draft for next year. I mean, that's how good this guy really is. And then when you don't have anyone right now to even come close to that, some guys you can fill and, hey, instead of giving me 6 shutout, give me 6 innings where you give up a couple of runs. Yeah. Florida hasn't really able to find that yet. So it's such a big loss trying to make up for that. And I just don't necessarily know. And it's weird, too, because you look at all these other rosters. And, Georgia, for example, we're not pitching, but they had 7 seniors in their lineup. So 7 of the 9 guys were seniors.
Wow.
They didn't even have a freshman in there. And then Kevin O'Sullivan, that weekend, against those guys, 3 freshmen on Saturday.
Wow.
3 freshmen on Sunday trying to pitch against these 22, 23-year-old dudes. It's just, I don't care really. They're eventually going to be good, but they're just not good enough yet to face some of these older teams, and that's what the portal has done. So, you hope Peterson's going to be okay. But you never know. I think you're exactly right. You must have stayed at Holiday Inn Express to be that smart to do that. But it's a big loss if he's not able to come back.
Who is Florida throwing tonight?
They are throwing another freshman. So a lefty that they're trying out of the bullpen because, again, another loss. And Frank Menendez, who was your top lefty out of the bullpen, hasn't been able to do anything. So, he's a kid out of Tampa Jesuit. So some success down there. Won a couple of state championships. By Miller is his name for those that want to know. But, a guy with a pretty good breaking ball, I think eventually he's going to be good. But, again, you're facing now a Florida State team that just took 2 out of 3 from Miami and put up double-digit runs and doing a bunch of stuff. So I think it's more now for these guys. Can they handle the environments? Can they figure out how to grow up a lot quicker than probably they needed to?
The pressure on, and you know this better than anybody because you're so close to it. Is there more pressure on a guy like Sully because the expectations are so high? I mean, he's been there 17 years, been home 10 times, which is crazy. Been to the Final Four, if you will, the last 2 years.
Yep.
The Final Series 2 years ago. So that ought to buy you a lot of grace. But I almost think in sports today, Jeff, rather than these mega successful coaches getting grace because they've been so good, they almost heighten the pressure on themselves and the expectations that if anything goes wrong, what the hell?
Yeah.
Does it feel that way with Florida baseball?
No, it is. I mean, we had a guy, and the Gators had just lost their first game, and he called our radio show back in town with Dooley and I, and he wanted Sully gone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, they're ranked at the time 6th in the country.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just because they had one bad game, it is a little bit insane. But I do think, Frank, to your point, I think all these guys, they do feel somewhat of the pressure to maintain that consistency. And because you always have these up-and-coming guys and all these other schools are hiring new coaches that are bringing a new attitude and certainly able to get money through NIL and all this other stuff, they're going to put a lot of pressure on. And, I think Sully understands, though, but I mean, certainly there's frustration. I think he expected this team to be pretty good and certainly didn't expect the injuries, so now you got to deal with it. But also remember last year, Florida needed 2 out of 3 against Georgia last year to end the year just to make the postseason, and then they go to Omaha. Yeah. So it's a long season, and you played 2 really tough opponents to start off the league. So maybe you go to Ole Miss and you can win a couple there. I don't think they're very good. They just swept Missouri, but Missouri is nothing special. Yeah. So then you get back on track. You still got South Carolina. You got Missouri themselves, and so there's still 8 more weeks to go. Plus, some of these midweek games.
What do you think Florida has to do resume-wise to get back in, starting 0-6 in league play?
Yeah, I think probably there's. If you look back at the history, there's been a couple teams with 12 SEC wins that have gotten in. Gators got 13 last year. Obviously, if you get to 15 in this conference, that's a no-brainer. So I think that's going to be now the goal. You probably need to go 12-12 the rest of the way, which is certainly doable, but you also still have Texas on the schedule and Arkansas on the schedule and some really tough teams. You can't get swept anymore, and I think that's where you hopefully can have somebody step up, somebody figure some things out. And remember, over the years, too, Neely was a starter, and then they needed him on the back end, so they did that. So maybe now with Philpott on the back end, never really pitching any meaningful innings, maybe you move back him into the starting role or do something just to shuffle some stuff around. So I think these next couple of weeks will be really big as those guys try to figure it out. But, they're constantly talking. They had a big team meeting before we got on the bus today, which I was happy about because I got to have a little more of the pregame meal. I was running late, so I was like, yeah, you guys talk as long as you need to. So, but no, I think, listen, these guys, you mentioned it, Frank, that these guys have played in Omaha, the ones that are on this team a couple of years ago for now a couple of times, so they understand it. I don't think there's any panic. There's certainly frustration, but they'll grind, they'll work hard, and this coaching staff's really good to try to get them back on track.
Jeff Cardozo with us, the radio voice of the Florida baseball team. We asked you this, Hays asked you this last time you were in town. Well, now it's even been heightened. Oh, by the way, you might win a national championship in basketball.
Yeah.
How crazy is Gainesville now? And we asked you that same question a month ago. I know that. But how crazy now is Gainesville about those great Gator boys?
Yeah, it's really cool. I think the hard part for me is every basketball game has been the same time as a baseball game.
Right,
so luckily I have YouTube TV, so I've got the trying to broadcast and watching the games at the same time. But it was so fascinating because the other day on Sunday, SEC, it's 1 o'clock and we're playing and they're losing to Georgia, and we had a guy, it was NATO, popped up to right field. And right as that was happening when Clayton hit the 3. So the place erupts. And we're like, this is crazy because Florida just popped out. They're getting their brains beat in by Georgia, yet the place was going nuts. You know that everybody was paying attention. So that's what Gainesville's like. I think there's certainly a lot of excitement, a lot of stuff going on, and I think they needed a game like that, and give credit to UConn. I think we know how good of a coach Hurley is and what he can do, and he came up with a game plan and slowed that thing down and had them grind it out, and but I always look back and see, and you mentioned a couple years ago facing LSU, I mean, you had Skeens on the team, so you had the best player on the planet.
Right.
So now Walter Clayton, you have the best player on the floor. So he stepped up. He did what he needed to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if Florida won by like 15 or 20 against Maryland.
I may have already given one of my Maryland buddies 6.5 today. Okay. Just so you know,
Yeah.
I may have already laid the 6.5 even earlier today with a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
Was there any unease on campus about UConn? Because it felt like the team kind of, like from a distance with us, it was like, yeah, it's the 2-time defending champs, but, they're an 8 seed. Their defense isn't close to what it was last year.
Sure.
But then to see the team play, I think they felt it. I think even Todd Golden sort of acknowledges we felt the mystique of UConn. What was it like, that 24 hours leading up to tip-off?
Yeah, no, I think that was a big part of it. They understood what was at stake and, what they had to go through, and they knew that there would be a game plan that was going to try to stop them. And, luckily UConn missed a bunch of shots early in that game, too, that probably helped. But then Florida very uncharacteristically missed all those free throws. And then could have probably won by even more if you look at it from that standpoint. But, yeah, I think even going in, just to see that on the 8 line, and that would be the second game, it was like, okay, well, here we go then. But you also look back at the 04s and that great group, and, they had that really tough game against Purdue, able to do that, and then went on a great run the rest of the way. So I think getting over that hump, and that's what gives me a lot of confidence. And, it could be Arkansas in the Elite 8, but Texas Tech is, obviously pretty formidable. They beat Houston, so still not easy. Everybody's good now the rest of the way, but I think there's certainly a confident group and just, what Golden does for that team and everything that he brings. Like they feel like they can win every game, so that's encouraging.
Jeff, and you have your finger on the pulse of this. Jeff Cardozo with us from the Florida Baseball broadcast and does so much radio in Gainesville as well. And I'm biased because Scott Strickland's a really good friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to preface this with my bias here. But I think the big picture is really in good shape. First of all, basketball, he's got the right guy. Now he's got the right guy. Baseball, you got the right guy.
Sure.
Softball, you got the right. We could go on and on. Track and by 10. So I think Scott's done a great job with facilities. I think he's built an all-world baseball facility. He's built an all-world football standalone. Exact Tech Arena looks like an NBA arena now, and it didn't before. I mean, so I would sense – now, a lot of it comes down to what football does. I know that. That's still – but I would think the NIL seems to be fully funded now. I would think Florida Athletics would be in a good place. Now, fans are always angry, and nobody's more angry than a fan on social media. I get that. But what do you think? Do you feel like, and again, I know it's about football, but doesn't it feel like everything's in a pretty good place?
Yeah, I think, the biggest word that I think about as you're saying that is there's finally momentum again.
Yeah.
And you look back at the way it was when Tebow was here and those guys were winning basketball national titles and all that was going on. Just there was a swag about the program, and everybody just understood what Florida was, and I think all these secondary sports have been really, really good, and you needed football and basketball to get good again, and we saw the way that Napier finished off, and Lagway's now getting all this attention and all the great things that he's doing, and certainly this basketball program, it's fun, and it's cool to be around now. And I always wondered that about Scott too, and why the naysayers were out there.
Yeah, I can't get there. That one puzzles me.
And because everything that you described, you would think as a Gator fan, people would absolutely love that. You now get to go to a Taj Mahal baseball stadium, a great atmosphere in Exactic Arena. The Swamp still sells out every football game, even though Florida, hasn't been good over the last couple of years. So everything that Scott Strickland did was to benefit the fans and have them involved and bring them a part of stuff and make them, just basically sit in luxury. So I never got the bad side, but again, football rules the roost, and they weren't winning for a few years. So everybody panics.
What's the concern level with DJ Lagway?
Oh no, he's fine. Yeah, everything's good. I think I've been around him a bunch, and he's totally fine. I think just he doesn't really need to go through all the stuff, and it allows other guys to have opportunities to certainly learn. And God forbid he goes down, you need to have somebody else, and they're auditioning other guys to be able to do that. But he was with Anthony Richardson a couple of weeks ago at like an event, and he's bigger now than Anthony Richardson is. And it's like, holy smokes, this guy is just ginormous. So he's done everything right in the weight room. Just an amazing kid. They did a DJ Lagway Foundation event at Spurrier's a couple of weeks ago, and it raised about $100,000, for UF Health and the Townsends and Shands Children's Hospital and all this other stuff. So, I mean, he's doing everything the right way. And, I mean, his parents are awesome. You get around him. And I think that was the cool part of the bowl game, interviewing him. He does all these things, and obviously Florida wins, but there was never any comment about DJ Lagway. It's like every question that you asked him, it was about, well, it's because my teammates did this or they did that. And, I think he fits in really nicely, and everybody loves him.
I got to tell you, and I agree with everything you said about him. He's a superstar person. He's much like Tebow in so many ways. I agree with that. But I'll tell you, and Billy Napier pretty much said, well, having a quarterback shut down like this is not abnormal. Yeah, it is. I mean, the truth is, I've covered spring practice for 40 years. I can't ever remember a quarterback being shut down. Pitchers, you were a pitcher. I was a pitcher. The arm goes much faster.
Yeah.
So we're going to have sore shoulders. I remember a quarterback taking a day off because of a sore throwing shoulder because they've thrown a lot. I've never seen this. So I'm glad you said he's fine because, I don't know, I was worried that maybe he wasn't.
Yeah, no, promise you.
The arm's okay.
He's good. Arm's good.
You see how much better I feel? I have needed this.
I've needed this. Thank you.
Okay. No shoulder
incredibly
surgery
nervous
or anything like
Just
that.
Just lost a Friday night starter. Hays, okay? Dang. Well, I'm glad to hear. Hey, you do a great job. Thank you for coming by. We appreciate that.
Guys.
Jeff Cardozo, one of our good friends in the business. He'll be on the call tonight. Florida and FSU get together at the baseball grounds in about an hour and a half. Jeff, we appreciate it. Back in a moment. This is 1010XL on 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
What part of your fire do you not understand?
The Drill.
This isn't the big leagues.
Mornings on 1010XL.
This is the big leagues.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Listen up, poker players. March is heating up at all 3 Best Bet locations. The Bad Beat jackpots are now uncapped, soaring to new heights. So don't miss your chance to win big. Plus, get in on the $42,000 weekend windfall, featuring $1,000 high hands every Friday and $500 high hands on Saturdays. And starting March 3rd, the Race to a Race promotion is back. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
The best teal-colored coverage includes Mia's quick hits.
Get the latest news from inside the building and around the league. I'm Mia O'Brien, 1010XL's NFL Insider.
Driven by Arlington Toyota. Available on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Janice. I'm a coach at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. When a client reaches the goal that they've set, they are so proud of themselves. They are so thrilled with how they look and how they feel. They are ready to take on the next thing. And that's one thing about weight loss. It's so much more than a number on a scale. It's about self-respect. It's a momentum thing. Now that I've lost 50 pounds, wow, there's no reason why I can't do this next thing that initially seemed so daunting, but now I know I can do it. The celebration is not just how much better you look and feel, but how much more self-respect you have. We get on a track of success at Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Losing weight with Awaken 180 isn't about the number on the scale. It's about how that number spearheads endless success. Bring your goals to Awaken 180, then celebrate when you check off each and every one of them. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnicht Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We welcome you back. We're live at the baseball grounds out here. Gorgeous night. Noles and Gators get together in a little over an hour and about 15 minutes. Thanks to Jeff Cardozo, the terrific play-by-play voice of the Gators, for stopping by. Frank Frangie and Hays Carlyon. Now let's welcome in my buddy Eric Lou Allen. For 19 years now, the voice of FSU Baseball. How are you, brother? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. It's good to see you again, as always.
It's good to see you. We'll go ahead and tell the story on air that we just told off air. I'm always cold guy. Eric and I did what did we decide? It was 98?
1998.
We did 1998. We were doing a pregame show before FSU beat Florida, and it was about 0 degrees. And I thought I was going to die, and you had like a T-shirt, right?
A golf shirt.
Hey, he had like a golf shirt. It was freezing. It was just freezing, so I've never forgotten that. I'm glad you haven't either.
and Frank said, now I know we're dead because this guy he played for FSU.
Right.
This is the FSU player attitude, and I'm freezing, and we're dead.
And I was so cold. And I was right. We lost. Got our butt beat. Hey, tell me about you. We'll get the team or not, but you love doing this. You've done it forever. I know how close you were to 11.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Which is really cool because I knew him a little bit, but obviously not like you did, and he was so beloved. How's this? And by the way, Eric was a very good football player at FSU too. By the way, let me point that out. Oh, by the way, that's football sport there. But the baseball thing, you've really embraced it as a broadcaster. How's this been for you? Had fun?
It's been great. And I played baseball in high school, and I always loved baseball. I can remember when I was a student, I'd run into 11 and I'd talk to him, and we'd just talk baseball. And it didn't have to be Florida State. It could be major league stuff. And I always loved having those conversations with him. And we played golf a couple of times way back in the day. so I've always had that connection to baseball. And when the opportunity opened up, I was ecstatic that I was able to get that. And to think that I've done this for 19 years now is, I can't even explain that. I love doing it. It's so much fun getting up, going to the yard every day and doing this. It's fantastic.
How cool has it been seeing this process of this rebuild and kind of a reimagining of a dominant FSU baseball program?
It's been fun. And like, I knew Link when he was in school. I was still in Tallahassee at that time even. I moved away for a little bit, but I was still there then. And so I knew Link fairly well in college. I hadn't talked to him. I probably had talked to him once or twice in 20 years. When they came to Tallahassee when he was with Notre Dame in 22, that may have been the first time I talked to him in 20 years. It may have been just that one time. So it's been fun to get reacquainted with him and to watch him work and to watch what the staff has done together, putting this team together and doing what they've done. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, to go from a season like we'd never had before, and then the next year we're in Omaha, it's hard to imagine that happening, I guess, now with NIL and the transfer portal and all that. Maybe that story isn't as tough to come across, but it's still hard to imagine that you can go through that.
Yeah, Eric, I'll tell you this, and Hays can back me on this. When things were going well with Mike Martin, or not going well with Mike Martin Jr., I was not surprised Link didn't get the job when he went from Greensboro to Notre Dame, because I understood. I understood. But I told him, if it doesn't work out with Junior, they're going to hire Link Jarrett.
Yeah.
And if they hire Link Jarrett, they're headed to Omaha. So we had that talk. We had about the time it was happening. Well, they hire Link and have the bad first year. And then I look like the biggest dummy in town. But I said, I'm telling you, he was going to clean it out. He was going to clean out the guys who didn't know how to work. And you saw it. I didn't. I'm just telling you from afar. And before long, it was going to look like. So I'm not surprised. Yeah. And I don't think you are either. That this happened.
No, I'm not surprised. And, it's that one season is just so out of the ordinary for Florida State. You just don't expect that. So to think that you can't get back to that point, I think would be kind of foolish. So you're going to get back there. To think at the end of 22 that all it was going to take, or at the end of 23, all it was going to take was 24 and you're there.
Yeah.
That I don't think I felt like it was going to happen that quickly.
I hear you.
But yeah, it was last year was a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun so far this year. We're almost at the halfway point. I think the end of this week is the halfway point of the season.
Wow.
So
God, that's right.
we'll see. We'll see what the second half of the year has in store for us.
What do you like about this club?
It's a fun group of guys, and last year was too. This is a fun group of guys. They're enjoying themselves. They're having a good time. It's funny how different it is now. I think NIL puts a new layer to it where there's maybe a little more seriousness to it because there's more. Those guys aren't just going out there trying to win. There's stuff on the line other than that for them too. But these guys have embraced that and they're having fun with it, and so they've been fun to watch.
I told Alex Lodies this before. I knew Alex's parents before they were married. Okay, so not only did I know you before you were born, I knew your parents. I knew Billy and Cindy before they were married, and so I've been able to watch him grow up. What has he meant to this program as the shortstop and captain and one, I think, better player?
Yeah, Link and I were just talking about him. We recorded our pregame stuff, and we were talking about Alex Lodies, and I said, could you have foreseen this jump that he's made? Because, look, we all knew he was going to have a great season. You expect him to improve, to get better. Could you foresee him having this jump? And he said, you know what? I can, because I see the way he works. I see what he does against our pitching. So I get that up-close look at it. So I'm not surprised that he's having the kind of year that he's having. And I think that's been huge for this team because you lose Cam Smith, who we just found out made the Astros roster.
Which is awesome.
34 minor league games, and the kid's a big leaguer.
Yeah.
And it couldn't happen to a better kid. I mean, Cam, like everything you see out there, the smiles and everything, that's Cam. He's really just one of a kind, and I'm ecstatic that this has happened for him. But you lose Cam, you lose James Tibbs, you lose Jaime Ferrer, you lose Marco Dinges. That's 4 huge bats out of that lineup. So you need – you come into the season, all right, we're not going to hit home runs like we did last year, but we still need that offense coming from somewhere. So you need somebody to step up and multiple people to step up. So to have Lodis step up to me to the level that he stepped up is huge for this team in trying to replace some of that productivity that was lost.
Who are the Noles starting tonight, and can you give us a little, scouting report on what to expect?
John Abraham, who will be our fourth straight game with a Tampa Jesuit grad starting on the mound.
Wow.
By the way. Our weekend rotation, Joey Vellini, Jamie Arnold, and Wes Mendez are all Tampa Jesuit guys. They're all lefties. John Abraham's a righty.
Isn't the Florida starter a Jesuit guy, too? I think Florida starting a Jesuit guy, too.
That's
so
amazing.
you know all about that.
And guess who else is a Jesuit guy?
I know you know all about that.
But John's, he's a guy that when he's getting the ball over the plate, he's tough. Fastball, he'll be up to 95. You'll probably see him in about that 91 to 93, 94 range. Spike curveball, that's a really, really good pitch. Changeup, and he added a cutter this past offseason. So, the thing with him is if he's throwing strikes, he'll be tough. Now, that's an if for him, and when you look at his walk numbers last year and you look at his walk numbers this year, that tells you the other side of that story. He pitched this weekend against Miami, got the ball over, and was effective. So we'll see if he can continue that out here. It's a big stage. He's pitched in this game in this ballpark before and was very good against Florida here last year. So I don't think it's going to be intimidated by the atmosphere kind of thing for him. It's really just going to be, can he get the ball over the plate?
I sense, Eric, that this is the team, just watching them from afar, that whatever the word is, the chemistry, the camaraderie, it's a really good. They get each other. I was my wife and I vacation in the Cape a lot because my wife hates hot weather, so we always get up there. Seriously, that's kind of our summer getaway.
You notice you and I, we don't vacation like Frank does.
Yeah, right.
So Lodis and Max Williams were on the same team up there.
Yeah.
And they were megastars.
Yeah.
So we went to. Well, I go to a lot of kids. My poor wife, she gets dragged to baseball games in Cape Cod, but they were megastars up there. And you could see they were more than just good players. That makes sense. They're more than just good players.
Yeah.
They're part of this culture that I think Link built very quickly.
Well, and like you look at Gage Harrelson.
Yeah.
Gage has come in here. Warner Robins, Georgia kid, played 2 years at Texas Tech, freshman All-American. Fell off a little bit last year as a sophomore compared to his freshman year. He transferred in, and he has fit in perfectly with this bunch. And that's the thing, that maybe people don't understand. Oh, you just need to go out and get guys out of the portal. Yeah, you need to get talented guys if you're going to dip into the portal, but you need to get guys that fit into your culture, that fit into the chemistry of your team. And like Gage has been a perfect fit for this team. And now he's the leadoff hitter, and he's hitting 20 of 23 games and has been on base in 22 of 23 games. Well, what else do you want out of a leadoff hitter? But the big thing is he fits in that clubhouse perfectly.
Final thing, Eric, before we let you go. Nobody knows FSU sports better than you, not just baseball. All right, tough year. Tough year for football after a great year. Tough year for basketball. Just changed coaches.
Yep.
I'm not going to ask what the mood is. The mood, they're down because it's been a tough time. I know that. But is there confidence that Mike Alford can get this fixed? Is there confidence Mike Norvell can get that fixed?
Yeah.
Do they feel good about Luke Laux? Give me kind of a big picture here.
I think everybody feels like Norvell can get it done. He's done it before. He came into a really bad situation and got it turned around and got us to where people were arguing about whether we should have been one of the final four teams in the playoff. So I don't think I think only the harshest critics out there, which everybody's got them in their fan base, might feel like he's not the guy. But I think most people, by and large, feel like he can get it done. He can get that turned around. Luke, I think everybody likes Luke. He's a hometown guy, not a Tallahassee kid, but hometown. He played at FSU. I love the experience he's had. The two assistants he's hired so far, two guys that have head coaching experience in the college at the college level, which to me, for a guy that doesn't have college experience and doesn't have head coaching experience, I feel like that's a pretty good thing for him to have done, to get two guys in there and two guys that worked at FSU in the past that he knows.
Yeah.
So two guys that he knows and two guys who have that head coaching experience that he can lean on, in those times when maybe you're the guy who doesn't have that experience, so you're not sure exactly what to do. I've got these two guys who have been there before.
Yeah, Michael Fly, one of them we know.
Yeah.
And I know who's a
he was
a wonderful basketball guy. From Kentucky, knows the game and loves the Noles very, very much.
Yeah, without a doubt. And in terms of football, Castellanos, how do you think he'll fit with Malzahn and what Norvell wants to do?
Well, if he plays for us the way he played against us, in the 2 years that we played against him, we'll be fine.
Win the Heisman.
We'll be fine. That's all I thought about when he went into the portal and when he ended up with us. I was like, thank God we don't have to play him again.
Right.
But I think it's going to be a battle with him and Brock Glenn. And there was a couple of stories today about Brock Glenn. And, it's different in this era of the transfer portal to see a guy at that position who's maybe not getting the reps that he thinks he should, but he's sticking it out with that program. And, the talk of how he feels about the program and his love for FSU, I think that's a huge thing. It's in an era where, it's gun for hire. So I think that's going to be a competition to watch in the spring.
Eric Llewellyn, the terrific play-by-play voice, former terrific football player there, and Joe Coward's favorite person. He loves to talk about the sports barbarian. You having the barbarian on us? That I am, Joe. Eric, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys.
1 hour to go on the program, 1 hour before first pitch. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold & Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Buckle up and grab the wheel.
Keep your foot in it. Keep your foot in it.
This Sunday at Martinsville.
That's how you do it.
NASCAR is revved up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 and 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
At Beaver Chevrolet, we believe your experience should be more than just buying a car. It should be a lifetime of confidence, care, and trust. That's why we're proud to offer lifetime warranties and lifetime customer service. At Beaver Chevrolet, we're not just here to sell you a car. We're here to establish a lifelong relationship that you can always count on. It's simple. You deserve the best and shouldn't settle for less. Visit Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, where we're ready to give you a peace of mind for a lifetime.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
The 2025 NFL season is right around the corner, and the Jags are building something special. A fresh team, a new culture, and a stadium that's going to change the game. Be there to witness head coach Liam Cohen and the rest of the coaching crew in action and secure your place in line for the stadium of the future with your 2025 season ticket membership. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at the bank this fall.
Put your best foot forward and score 60 minutes of soccer insight on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk.
Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 a.m.
Jacksonville's summer heat is coming in fast. Is your AC ready to handle it? Or will it quit on you on the hottest day of the year, leaving you sweating and stuck with a huge repair bill? Duck Air Conditioning is here to save the day with a free AC system inspection. Our expert techs will make recommendations to ensure your AC system is running in tip-top shape before the heat arrives. Call now, 904-862-6769. Duck Air Conditioning, duckac.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Take your taste buds to One Night Taco Stand for Taco Tuesday. Get $2.99 tacos and $6.99 specialty drinks. The 1010XL restaurant of the day is One Night Taco Stand, Mandarin, Orange Park, and Southside at Bay Meadows.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging? Spring is here, a time to renew. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, here to help you look and feel your best with minimal to no downtime. Rejuvenate your skin, strengthen your core, and sculpt your body with advanced face and body treatments designed to restore your youthful glow and confidence, just in time for spring and summer. A healthier, more fit you starts now. Visit dermagnify.com and step into spring looking and feeling your best.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out. You need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. That's right, Terminix it.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you spend a lot of time talking about diamonds, but what about some of the colored stones we see?
Frank, when you talk about colored stones, there are literally hundreds of varieties and species in the gem kingdom. As certified gemologists, we're trained gemologically on the identification of each of these and can separate the man-made synthetics and imitations from the real thing. But at Underwoods, we can go to the next step. At Underwoods, we're active buyers of loose-colored stones in the world markets, so we have an understanding of the values of colored stones as they relate back to the various qualities. In fact, just like diamonds, we buy most of our colored stones loose, then create the pieces of jewelry to hold the gems. You can be assured not only of the authenticity and quality of our colored stone jewelry, but also of the value. So if you're in the market for a fine quality emerald, sapphire, ruby, aquamarine, amethyst, citrine, tourmaline, peridot, or any other gemstone, come by and see us at Underwoods.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of classic rock with legendary vocalist Jeff Tate. Known for his iconic work with Queensryche, Jeff Tate brings his unforgettable sound to the Florida Theater for one night only. A round-trip journey in your head. Witness the hit album Operation Mindcrime, performed in its entirety for the final time. Jeff Tate, Operation Mindcrime, April 3rd at Florida Theater. Tickets at floridatheater.com.
E.T. here, and spring in Clay County means one thing: the award-winning Clay County Fair. It's more than just rides and a concert, it's an experience. Savor the flavors of classic fair treats, explore family-friendly attractions, and enjoy a perfect mix of small-town charm and big-time fun. Plan your trip with Explore Clay County Tourism and turn your visit into a getaway. Find the best places to stay, eat, and explore at exploreclay.com. And don't forget to share your fair adventures with #ExploreClay.
Dickin here, beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them 1010XL sent you. Zero Res.
I'm Max Fink, here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by TopDressing.com. Projected first overall pick Cam Ward had his first and only public throwing workout yesterday at Miami's Pro Day. Ward's Pro Day went well as he made an abundance of throws showing coaches what he's capable of, and even mouthing words to Titans general manager Mike Borgonzi and head coach Brian Callahan during the workout. Ward has lots of confidence in himself going into the draft and even talked about his confidence in exposing NFL defenses from the film he's watched in an interview with CBS Sports.
But on film, it looks the same as college. From a back-end standpoint, a lot of guys want to put the safety high, 25 yards down the field and leave the middle field wide open. Some teams who did that to us this year, they paid the price. I think some teams in the NFL did a lot of too hot stuff. They leave way too much space on the sideline down the seams. And so I just think the arm strength and, the confidence that I'm bringing, just think I'll be able to put the ball where I want.
It's 76 degrees at 5:02. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on the Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We thank our friends from the Nimnick family of dealerships. Always a Nimnick Tuesday around here, and I promise you come out of this ballpark, there's signs of Nimnick all over the place, as there is everywhere. Nimnick sponsors so many important things over the years in sports related. Oh, by the way, it's the best place to get automobiles. My friend Billy Nimnick and Lee Nimnick do a spectacular job running Nimnick Chevrolets on Caston Avenue and Nimnick Buick GMC, which is located on Phillips Highway. Frangie and Carlyon with you here. JJ LaSelva back at World Headquarters. Special thanks to Jeff Cardozo, the terrific play-by-play voice of the Gators, and Eric Llewellyn, the terrific play-by-play voice of the Seminoles, play-by-play voice of the baseball teams, that is. Weren't they great?
Absolutely.
That's two guys that know their programs and know the cities. See, both Jeff and Eric, they're baseball play-by-play guys. But they get it. They get what's going on with Seminole Athletics in Tallahassee and Gator Athletics in Gainesville. Both of them. Jeff was a very good pitcher for the Gator baseball team. Eric was an offensive tackle and a very good one for Bobby Bowden. But he's a great story. But he was a left-handed pitcher in high school and a good one. But he gave up baseball because he was 6'4", 305, and he went and played offensive line for FSU. But afterwards stayed in Tallahassee, started doing radio, fell in love with baseball again, and now he's been the play-by-play guy there for 19 years. It's really cool for both those guys the way their careers have
without
unfolded.
a doubt, both outstanding at what they do, and great, great guests as well. And it's cool because you get a little bit. I mean, Todd Golden's in year 3, and it was year 1. Not much to show for your efforts. Year 2, a big step forward. Got to the NCAA tournament, got knocked out as a 7 seed in the first game, and now on to the Sweet 16 and potentially more. And you see that same trajectory with Link Garrett and Jarrett and Florida State in year 3.
Great call.
Because it feels
Great
like,
comparison.
I mean, they obviously Florida State was much better in year 2, but it feels like they've really got something special with FSU baseball.
But that comparison's a good one. I never thought about it. I heard you say it. Todd Golden, what he inherited and quickly elevating Florida basketball, and Link Jarrett, what he inherited and quickly elevating FSU baseball, very similar. You could really make that comparison. So you're exactly right. So it's great having those guys on, talking a little baseball and all sports overall with us. All right, we got headlines coming up. We're just around the corner. I do want to remind you, you got to get out and see how this ballpark. I can't wait to see the Jumbo Shrimp play in this gorgeous ballpark this year. Baseball season right around the corner, and the way that right field looks, and you made a good point. I do want to say we kind of laughed about this before the. I didn't know much about this. So they got the bleachers in right field, the seating area, and then right behind it this gorgeous building. And I've been saying, well, that obviously is where their offices will be. And Hays goes, don't you think maybe it's a suite for the fans? Well, being that they play like 100 games here, yeah, I'm a dumbass. Of course it's a suite for the fans. But maybe there's I'm hoping there's an office somewhere up there.
Maybe
so I didn't
the
get
lower level,
maybe,
where the brick wall
maybe
is.
underneath
Yeah,
below.
maybe there's offices there.
Hey, don't you think maybe it's a suite area because it looks, I don't know, right into the ballpark.
They did a great job.
It's gorgeous here. So
looks like it's almost done.
It is, and Ken and I were texting earlier, and he said there's a lot more to do, and he said as good as it looks now, wait till you see it on April 1st, which is the opening night, which is a week away. So, but they've done a fantastic job of rebuilding this gorgeous ballpark, and they ought to be very proud of it, and I know they are. We're going to get the headlines in just a few minutes. Before we do, a little bit about the Sweet 16. We haven't even touched on it today. We touched on it most days. What pressure's on them now? You made a good point yesterday, and I got thinking about this after you made the point. There's enormous pressure on them not to lose the other day. Obviously, not to get beat in the first round, and frankly, not to get beat by UConn, the defending champion, to show you can't go head to head with this wonderful team, 2-time champ. Is the pressure lessened now? Because it feels like to me, Arkansas could be an exception, but I don't even think they are. I think you got 16 teams that could win the thing. It's rare that you have 16 that really could win it, but you now might have 16 teams that could win it. Does that lessen the pressure, not just on Florida, but on Duke or Houston or any of them? Does it feel that way to you?
It does. I mean, honestly, I don't really know anybody that I would say is under tremendous pressure. I mean, Bruce Pearl, getting to the second weekend, he's been to a Final Four. I mean, obviously he's looking for the elusive first national title. But, I mean, Kentucky, there's always going to be pressure, but Pope's in his first year there. They're on to the Sweet 16. They're feeling great about things. Obviously, Arkansas feels very good about its investment in Calipari. I don't think Barnes is really facing any pressure. They've had a great year. I'm sure that, he'd like to make a deep run here, obviously, and get that first national crown. But I don't really see anybody. And Shire is so young at Duke that that I don't think he's under really any pressure. And I would say Nate Oates at Alabama is not really under any pressure because he's given them a basketball program they probably never really dreamed they'd have consistently. Being as good as Alabama has been, he's taken them to a Final Four. So, yeah, I think that's a great point that no one, I would say, is under insane pressure like we see in other sports, the Bills in the NFL, going down the line. But, I think in Florida's case, I think they were really, to hear Golden talking with reporters, particularly after the fact, I think they were really bothered having to go through UConn.
Yeah.
I think that was way more of a mental hurdle than what I gave it credit for. because the team is just, they've played in a really tough league. They're the 1 seed. They've got all this great, recent history. And I didn't think they'd be that bothered by the presence of the Huskies, but they were. And you almost get a sense that now the belief in Gainesville is the hardest one's out of the way.
Right. That's
which I don't know if that's true, because I don't think UConn is the best team that they'll face if they go all the way to the national title. But from a psychological standpoint,
that's right.
I think I think they feel like that was the hardest block. You look at Maryland, Kevin Willard is the coach. No one in America knows who he is outside of Maryland. So there's no mystique there. Maryland hasn't been to the Sweet 16 in an even longer period than Florida. If you get Arkansas, well, you beat Arkansas in their house earlier in the season. There's no mystique there. There won't be any mystique with Texas Tech. No one knows who their coach is. And then, you're into the Final Four. And at that point, I think the season's already kind of gravy because of what the expectations were going into the preseason. To win an SEC tournament, to make it to the Sweet 16. 4% of teams playing Division I basketball reach to the Sweet 16. There's 357 teams doing this. So if you're one of the final 16 standing, you are in the top 4% of Division I basketball. Hard for me to say at this juncture of the Todd Golden build that more could be expected than what he's delivered this year.
Yeah, I'll say this. I agree with everything you said. Back to your point about UConn. It was in their heads because it was in freaking my head. It was in Gator fans' heads. I hated the matchup. I hated having to play the two-time defending champ in the 1-8 game. If you wind up playing him in the Final Four, that's one thing. I hated Hays, I hated it before they made it. I told you, I said this on the air to you. I said, what if they get UConn? Do you remember we had? I said, what if they get UConn in the 1-8 game? And you kind of like, yeah, that's fine. Well, they got them. And so for me, there was a psychological thing, and I think what you said, that was the hard one. Well, that was the hardest psychological hurdle they were going to have. Now, if you wind up playing Duke, that's a psychological hurdle too, because Coach K, although he's not the coach anymore, is in everybody's head. John Shire might be on the sideline, but that's Coach K's team, and that you'll feel like you're playing Coach K's team, which is one of the reasons they remain so good. And so, but I think that psychological part, I don't think there's any question that it was there, and it was in their heads when that game started. And again, it was in. I'm not the only Gator fan that was scared to death. I told you before the game I was scared to death of the game. Well, they probably were too. And so they got beyond that. So yeah, but I think the pressure. Listen, you don't want to lose. By the way, I think they're going to hammer Maryland.
The potential is there because Maryland only playing five guys.
Yeah, and listen,
boy, a lot of things have to go perfect for you.
And everybody's
with that kind
good.
Of plan.
And everybody's good. So they might lose to Maryland, but my opinion is they're going to beat Maryland. Listen. I don't know that anybody in the country had as many 15 and 20 and 25-point wins as the Gators did. It seemed like they were 14-4 in the SEC in the regular year, and 11 of those wins were double digits. You realize that? 11 of the 14 were double-digit wins. That just doesn't happen.
They're top 5 in the country in scoring margin.
Yeah, right. So I think we'll see if we're right or not. But I think they're going to hang one on Maryland. They may not. But I do.
Do you think it's an advantage? Go ahead and finish your thought.
I'm going to say everything you said. I think the pressure of, oh, my God, we lost is off. There's always pressure. It's one and done, and there's 16 teams left. You're trying to win the national title, so there's pressure every dribble, every game, every moment. But oh, my God, we're failures because we lost. Oh, my God, how could we get upset? The 20-point underdog beats the football team, and you're devastated because of it. I think that's gone.
Yeah,
that part's gone.
And honestly, like going through it, maybe Houston has that because Kelvin Sampson's been so close with Houston, and they've been a 1 seed for so many of these things. It feels like maybe they're, maybe there's, but again, it's Houston. You're just now getting into the Big 12 and a big conference, and so it kind of does feel that way, that it's a wide open Sweet 16. I think most people are going to expect you're going to see the ones get through. Certainly Duke. Maybe Arizona gives them trouble. Certainly Alabama could in how they play. But it's almost like a common theme throughout each region. The 1 seed faces some resistance, as you would expect, but it seems like in a great likelihood it will be the 4 number 1s advancing to San Antonio.
Yeah, because it seems so much. One of them's probably going to get upset. But you're right. It feels like that kind of a game, so there's no question about that. All right, we are live here. Headlines right around the corner. But we are. What
I was going to ask you, do you think it's an advantage for Maryland, flying from Maryland to Seattle for the first weekend?
Yeah.
They advance, and then they go from Seattle to San Francisco?
You know what?
Or is that a disadvantage being away from home for so long?
There's really no way of knowing.
Yeah.
You could. I've heard football. You know this. I've seen football coaches treated both ways. When you play the Raiders and the Seahawks back-to-back, I've seen some coaches say, let's just stay on the West Coast. I've seen other coaches say, that's the last thing I want to do. I want to sleep in our beds for 3 nights. There's no way of knowing that. It's a great question, but there's no way of knowing. I think if I'm my team, I would prefer to sleep in my own bed. I wouldn't want to go Seattle, Gainesville, San Francisco. But Raleigh, which is an hour flight from Gainesville, I think I'd rather do that and be in my own bed until I got on the road. So I think I'd prefer what Florida had to do than what the Maryland has to do, but we'll see if it turns out. I do want to remind you, by the way, we're live at the baseball grounds. Florida and Florida State. FSU is the home team. Florida will bat first here. Florida, last year FSU won all 3 games. Now, Florida had won like 23 of 30 against FSU until last year when the Noles swept them in the regular year and beat them soundly, by the way. This year they've already played once in Tallahassee, and Florida won the game. They'll play 2 more times, once here and then once in Gainesville. They play at 6 o'clock today. A special moment you asked me about earlier, that a walk-off, the Mayor Donna Deegan will throw out the first pitch, but she will be accompanied by Kennard Leroy Jr., a 7-year-old, and part of our walk-off program. His actual walk-off team is the Forest View Marlins. He plays on the 8U Forest View. Good little player, by the way. And he's a guy that's we got into baseball, and he loves it. And one of the things we're really proud of with walk-off is there's a lot of kids like Kennard that probably aren't playing baseball. They're playing other sports, but now they're playing baseball. And we're excited about that, and you're going to see him fire one in there. Now, he's 7. I don't know if he's going to get it there from 60 feet 6 inches, but the mound he plays on a little tighter than that. His 8U mound's a little closer, but he'll be out there with Mayor Deegan.
That's awesome. What a great experience. And in 10 years, who knows? Maybe he'll be competing in this game.
In one of these 2 uniforms.
Yeah.
That would be a great thing. Hays has headlines on the other side, so stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
High school, college, and pro.
As good as it gets.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Lots of jewelry stores in the town center, but only one is locally owned, Beard's Diamonds.
We're the only local jewelry store at the town center.
That's Jacksonville's John Lupo, owner of Beard's for over 4 decades.
We're entrenched in Jacksonville, Florida.
In a sea of mega chain jewelers, John says it's easy to stand out because he's not handcuffed by a corporate handbook.
I am not beholden to a corporate structure, so we've got flexibility to do whatever we can and want, and we do.
And that includes lowering prices to undercut them every day.
Quality for quality, color for color, everything the same. We should be able to beat them hands down by minimum 20%. We go overseas ourselves. We know exactly what we're buying. This isn't getting marked up in a corporate structure. We will beat anybody's price anywhere.
So before you buy anything at one of those chains, get a second opinion at locally owned Beard's Diamonds. No corporate atmosphere, no corporate rules, no corporate high markups.
We want you to come shop us and you'll see a lot better price here.
Beard's Diamonds.
Everybody gets a good deal at Beard's.
Golf lovers, listen up. UF Health Jacksonville is bringing you an exciting day on the greens with their inaugural Golf Classic Friday, April 25th at Amelia River Club. It's your chance to tee up for a cause supporting Northeast Florida's premier academic health center while enjoying a top-notch golf experience. Sponsorships are available. Whether you're looking to showcase your brand or just play a great round of golf for a great cause, now's the time to get involved. Visit ufhealthjacks.org/golf to learn more.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Hey, it's Matt Hays. If you're like me, as soon as you click yes to a subscription, you feel stuck. Starting Awaken 180 was the complete opposite because it's not a subscription, no fine print. Pay as you go, lose weight as you go. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Get to know positions and players. The 1010XL Ultimate Draft Guide is brought to you by Blue Haven Pools, the #1 pool builder in Jacksonville. Follow rankings and roundtables as the draft takes shape. Go to 1010XL.com/2025 draft guide to get yours.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators, and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harold & Harold. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. We're out here at the baseball grounds. Beautiful day as Florida and Florida State get ready to start at 6 o'clock. Thanks to our friends at Harold & Harold. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we are a month from today. Will be rounds 2 and 3
No way.
of the NFL
No way.
draft,
No,
which
it's not.
means that a month from today, the Jaguars will have introduced the first-round pick. They'll draft him Thursday night. The first-round pick will be introduced the next day to local media and fans. Give us the Frangie mock at this point. Who do you think the Jaguars will end up taking at 5 as we're
Do I have to do one of those mocks where you pick every...
You don't have to just who's the player?
Yeah,
who are we going to be introduced to
on Twitter
a month from today?
I'm going to do one of my 7-round mocks, too, because I will crush it if I get on. I don't know how that works, but I'm going to crush it. I think it'll be Mason Graham.
Okay.
I think both quarterbacks are going to go early. I think Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter and some earlier are going to go early. I would be now, unless some sort of a health thing comes out, Hays, something that, oh my God, there's a health scare nobody knew about player X. But barring something surprising, I think the 2 quarterbacks are going in the top 4, and I think Carter and Hunter are going in the top 4. And I think, given what the Jags need, Mason Graham's the next best player. I still say, even though Ted McMillan has dropped in mocks left and right, I still say that's the one guy that could change it. He could jump up there. It would not surprise me if they were intrigued by him. But if you ask me to guess, I think there's less mystery in that top 5 than there's been in recent years. I think the 2 quarterbacks, Carter and Hunter, are going before Mason Graham, and I think he fits the Jags.
Our buddy Pete Prisco of CBS Sports put out his first mock draft, and it's pretty wild. So in Pete's first mock, he has Cam Ward going first, followed by Abdul Carter, then Shedeur Sanders. Then here comes the curveball. He's got the Patriots desperate for offensive tackle help. He's got them taking LSU's Will Campbell, which leaves Travis Hunter to the Jaguars at 5.
Yeah, and I think, to use your phrase, race it up there, I think you pull both hamstrings to race that card up to because I think Travis Hunter's a star. I can't fathom, and I don't know what Mike Vrabel thinks and wants to do. I can't fathom the Patriots passing Travis Hunter if he's there. You can pass him for a quarterback because we all know the value of quarterback, that if you think you might have a quarterback. You can pass him for Abdul Carter because as important as cover corners are, they're not as important as pass rushers, and this guy might be an elite pass rusher. You cannot pass him for anything else. Not an offensive lineman, unless it's Tony Baselli,
right,
which it's not. I can't fathom, and I have great respect for Pete's work, and his mocks are way better than any I could ever do, but I can't imagine that they pass Travis Hunter at 4.
I would agree, because it seems like if you're the Patriots, you would let's just take Hunter at 4 and, okay, either maybe come back into the first round or just take your tackle in the second round, and maybe come back in rounds 4 or 5 and throw another dart at the board in that position.
You win with stars. I can't imagine that Travis Hunter's not going to be a star in the league.
Yeah, I would agree. Maybe a club will be turned off by the wanting to play both ways. Who knows? But that would be a complete home run if it's Travis Hunter. Mason Graham would be great as well, and I agree with you. I think that's where it lands, because I just can't imagine Travis Hunter being there at 5. But if he is, that'll be a home run for the Jaguars. Cam Ward had his pro day yesterday and told the Titans brass, I'm solidifying it today. Really had an outstanding workout. No surprise, most of these guys normally do, but a very impressive workout for Cam Ward. And it certainly seems like if you're the Titans, you should feel like it is solidified. He's your guy.
And listen, the Titans, what a break they caught. They got it wrong with Will Levis. Then that thing's been a mess. First, they fired John Robinson for drawing a blank. Former Gator.
Rand Carthon. Yeah.
They fired John Robinson for Rand Carthon, former Gator, right? He's there for about a blink of an eye, and then they fire him and bring in Barganzi, and then they make some goofy trades. They could have been in a world of hurt, but as luck had it, they got the first pick, and as luck had it, Cam Ward is there, and I think they caught the break of all breaks. They go from needing a long time to rebuild it. I think they fired, and I always say, be careful when you fire a good football coach, and they fired a good football coach. That thing could have been a mess. I think all of a sudden they caught the break of all breaks, and they're going to have Cam. I can't imagine they won't take Cam Ward.
Let's get to college football. ESPN's Andrea Adelson has a great Florida State feature. In it, talks about the rebuild, and Mike Norvell said something really interesting in the story that Andrea wrote. He has emphasized production over potential in the portal this offseason. He felt like probably leaned more towards the potential guys, the 5-star guys that maybe hadn't done it yet at their collegiate level, bringing him to Tallahassee, whereas this year he wanted starts and college production. Almost sort of reminds you a little bit of the Jaguars' bulky trades to Gladstone production, but it'll be interesting to see how it works. But anyway, great story if you want to read about the Florida State rebuild under Mike Norvell.
Well, I can tell you this. The portal should always be about production. You can make the argument that recruiting or the draft, I still think it should be production anyway. I think give me guys that are good at football, not guys that can lift weights. But the portal, there should never even be a discussion. The portal should always be about production. Listen, Mike Norvell, this is it. He's got to win this year. That's why they were so involved. That's why they were so involved in the portal, and they've got to win this year, and I think they know that. I don't think there's any question about that. So they've got to win, and they got to win fast. By the way, I thought it was interesting that Eric Llewellyn, who's there, said he doesn't think Seminole Nation overall doubts Mike Norvell. Yeah. And he lives there, and he's on radio there, and he's got his finger on the pulse of it as much as anybody does. He doesn't think that.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, without a doubt. Stanford general manager Andrew Luck fired football coach Troy Taylor today. Taylor was battling allegations of inappropriate conduct. He was also 3-9 in both years with Stanford. But what an odd headline to see. Stanford general manager Andrew Luck firing a football coach.
And what an odd time, like you said, to do it. What football coach gets fired in April or March? I mean, it's you fire your football coach during the season, right after the season. Nobody fires a football coach. There must have been a terrible disconnect between Andrew Luck and remember, aren't they still looking for an AD too, or there must be
I think so.
There must be a terrible disconnect.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you imagine?
Well, Taylor was accused of bullying players and not treating staffers well,
but that can't be new.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Luck stood by him for a while, but maybe something else surfaced.
Right.
But yeah, very odd timing to be looking for a football coach, and in a program that I think at Stanford, you would think if that you can have success there. Jim Harbaugh, David Shaw have certainly had success there. You have to think with their alumni base, the NIL dollars are there.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what becomes of Stanford. It's just still odd to see Andrew Luck as a college football general manager and not a franchise quarterback. Let's get into college basketball. The Gators are on their way. They're probably there now. They left for San Francisco this morning. So we'll see. They'll have pretty much all day today, obviously tomorrow and Thursday. But you like their chances going into the regional semifinal against Maryland.
I do. And listen, they're all good now. I mean, nothing's going to surprise you anymore. If Arkansas is in the Final Four, it's not surprising anymore. They're all good, Hays. But I think Florida got beyond the hard game. You and I have had this talk. Maryland is not deep. They play 5 guys. They use their reserves a little bit. Florida's the ultimate deep team where they keep running them at you and running them at you and running them at you. I think this is a tough go for Maryland. I really do. We'll see.
The portal is open in college basketball, which is kind of crazy with 16 teams still competing for a national championship. But Frank, did you see that within the first day, there were already 700 players in the portal in college basketball? Again, there's 357 D1 teams, so an average of at least 2 players per school in the portal, and obviously in many cases it's basically the entire roster.
Well, you saw the UNF guys. I hated it for Matthew Driscoll, and look, Matthew Driscoll and the other mid-major coaches, Jordan Mincy, they understand what they're up against, but it's still hard to see it. Almost the whole team. I mean, UNF. And they're not alone, by the way. I'm not picking on UNF. You know how much I like Matthew, but I mean that's just what's been publicized. Teams like that, they're not having players. They're going to literally sign 3 or 4 guys in the high school ranks, and then go get 7 or 8 portal guys that they take, and that's your team. It's so bizarre how the 25, 26 teams will look nothing like the 24-25 teams did. It's amazing.
It really is. We're only a few years from still being stunned with the portal being such a large part of everybody's basketball roster. This was interesting today. People were going through and kind of going through every Sweet 16 starting five. So of the Sweet 16 teams remaining, only one team's starting lineup does not feature a transfer.
Wow.
That is Purdue.
That's the only team left.
That's the only team left that all 5 starters were recruited by Purdue. Duke and Michigan State are close. They both have 4 of their 5 starters
and those are
kids they recruited.
And they're 3 established programs.
Right.
They're 3 established programs. I think Florida next year will have very few portal guys. I think the Florida lineup next year, they'll have somebody, but I'll bet you, think Chinyelu will still be there. He'll be a transfer. But I'll bet there won't be very many. I think once you become established, there's fewer, but that's an amazing stat.
Yeah, it's a good point. You would think Aberdeen and then 2 bigs, that come back, or at least 3 homegrown starters, particularly if it's Condon and Howe in the starting lineup. But yeah, it just shows where the sport is going at every level of Division I. The ratings have been outstanding. It hasn't affected that. The CBS and their partners announced that this was the best opening weekend from a rating standpoint since 1993.
I'm not surprised. I think, listen, the weird thing is nobody knows the players. The good thing is the level of play is really good. It's fast-paced. There's an NBA feel to it now. There used to be we talk about how close the NFL and college football is. Well, NBA and college basketball are closer than they've ever been, too. Used to be college basketball teams. It was Gene Hackman and Hoosiers, no shots before 4 passes, right? Well, now everybody plays fast and jacks up shots, and so it's a level of play people love watching.
I think it's also the fact that so many, football, we'll start with the SEC having 7 teams in, having 7 good teams, I think helps because all those fan bases are monstrous.
Yeah.
Villanova doesn't have the fan base that in Auburn or in Alabama that haven't traditionally been great in basketball are going to have.
We always say this, Hays. The Cinderella story is great when it happens. It's not great for the next round when someone's now a prohibitive favorite and usually wins big. That's when the Cinderella. Well, now if there's no Cinderella stories, all the games are competitive, or certainly look competitive on paper.
In the world of Major League Baseball, I thought this was interesting. ESPN did some preseason power rankings, and they had their top 5 teams.
Pirates? Are the Pirates top 5?
The Pirates are 24th.
Dang it.
So getting better.
Dang it.
Getting better, climbing.
Top 5.
You're only 19 spots away, so we'll see. But I thought it was surprising. Dodgers 1, Braves 2, Phillies 3, Mets 4, Diamondbacks 5. The Orioles were the top AL squad at number 6.
Yeah, that surprises me a little bit. The Braves being up there doesn't surprise me. The Diamondbacks surprise me. The Diamondbacks have a good team, and they've had a good offseason, but them being that high surprises me. The Dodgers surprise nobody, but the Braves will be fun to watch. I think the Braves have built a good foundation. It's a good foundation, and they're going to be good for a lot of years.
We're here at obviously what's got to be one of the best college baseball environments in the entire regular season across the country, having Florida and Florida State play at this magnificent facility, the baseball grounds. So a big game tonight, number 4 Florida State against a Florida team that's now unranked. First pitch is set for at 6 p.m., so we're just about 23 minutes away. The Gators 0-6 in SEC play. They did beat the Noles in Tallahassee. Kevin O'Sullivan, as you mentioned, has led UF past FSU in 23 of the last 30 meetings. Frank, what happens tonight?
Yeah, well, I think FSU's got the better team, and Florida's really struggling with pitching. Now, listen, midweek, you're not throwing your weekend guys, so it always often comes down to who's got the best midweek guys. But I would be surprised if Florida can hang with them. I think FSU's got the better of the 2 teams. I'd be a little bit surprised if FSU doesn't win. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'll tell you this: the crowd, the amount of people here, it's going to be fantastic. I love the energy. I love it all. I really do.
Yeah, we appreciate all the fans that have come up and said, "Hey, since we've been here, it's been awesome." And we're going to get you out on our musical note. I don't know that we're going to beat We got Tom Petty in the background. We had ZZ Top before that. But we'll do our best because happy birthday to the great Elton John, who turned 78 years old today.
That?
John has sold an astonishing 300 million albums worldwide. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994. This is I'm Still Standing, and we're all glad Elton John is still standing. Happy birthday wishes to him.
What a perfect choice, by the way. What a perfect choice to play for a guy in his 78th birthday. He is still standing, and like to your point, we're better for it. Great job as always.
Thanks.
Back in a moment to wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Major League Baseball, New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge, the betting favorite to lead the majors in home runs this season. Judge is at plus 300. Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Dodgers is at plus 500. Kyle Schwarber plus 1,000 to lead the league in home runs. Fernando Tatis Jr. plus 1,600. Pete Alonso and Yordan Alvarez both at plus 1,800. Luis Arraez of the Miami Marlins is the betting favorite to be the regular season hits leader. He is at plus 600. Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals plus 700. Trey Turner and Vladimir Guerrero both at plus 1,200 to lead the league in hits. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Trying to figure pricing at most AC companies is like listening to an auctioneer.
Who wants an AC tune-up? Do I hear $3.99? How about $2.99? No, let's drop it. $79? Do we have a deal? Going once, going twice? Sold!
Not at Duck Duck Air Conditioning. We make it easy. We're offering a free AC inspection. No gimmicks, no fine print, just a completely free checkup from our highly trained techs to make sure your AC is ready for summer. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule. Duck Duck Air Conditioning, because free is better than bidding. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Hey, folks, you're looking for a better used car shopping experience? Well, you're going to find it at Nimnick Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealership. Now, with Car Bravo at Nimnick, you'll get transparent pricing, the best value for your trade, and peace of mind. And now is the best time to shop certified used vehicles and to buy with confidence. Buying a certified used vehicle has never felt better. Now, with Car Bravo, Nimnick Buick GMC can certify all makes and models. That means Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford. That's right, all makes, all models. And oh, by the way, trading in your old vehicle, don't forget who gives you the top dollar for your trade. Nobody but Nimnick. So shop online and find out where you can find all those terrific used cars. Car Bravo certified dealership, that is Nimnick. Nimnick Buick GMC. Visit them today. That is Nimnick.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of classic rock with legendary vocalist Jeff Tate. Known for his iconic work with Queensryche, Jeff Tate brings his unforgettable sound to the Florida Theater for one night only.
Round-trip journey in your head.
Witness the hit album Operation Mindcrime, performed in its entirety for the final time. Jeff Tate, Operation Mindcrime, April 3rd at Florida Theater. Tickets at floridatheater.com.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design.
Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 50% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
Where Blue Bloods and Cinderellas come together to dance.
Now on until the end of the season, I don't want you to think about anything but basketball.
Tune in for live updates on 1010XL.
Served up hot by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Florida Pest Control.
Years ago, when Harold & Harold was growing, we had a decision to make whether we were going to grow into the state or even beyond. And we decided that we were going to stay here in this community in Northeast Florida. It's staying here and not looking at where's the next place that we can go or how can we get bigger, because the bigger is not necessarily better. This is our home. This is where our families are. This is where our friends are. And this is where we're going to stay. Offices, Jacksonville.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to our website, CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hair4me.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, where we've been in the course of the show today, it's been all about Florida and FSU. Jeff Cardozo, the terrific play-by-play voice of Gator Baseball, joined us and talked all about the Gators, baseball and otherwise. Eric Llewellyn, the outstanding play-by-play voice of the Florida State baseball team, stopped by as well. He talked about FSU baseball and other things as well. Said it was kind of fun. We talked a little Sweet 16. We talked a little bit of college football and even looked at the draft a little bit. So it's been a fun show, much to cover. I do want to remind you we are live at the baseball grounds here, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Florida State and Florida about to get together, and just a gorgeous, gorgeous night on the First Coast. It really is.
You couldn't ask for a better night. So hopefully it'll be a good game, and we'll see. I'm with you. I think Florida State gets it done tonight. Florida doesn't seem to have any momentum.
Yeah.
And the fact that Florida beat them in Tallahassee, a couple weeks ago,
yeah,
I would think Florida State probably senses blood in the water. And I would think this one could get out of hand. I'll say Florida State 9, Florida 3.
Yeah, the one thing you don't know is how good are the midweek, because they're still trying. Again, if you follow college baseball, your best three starters start in those conference games for both teams, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So at best, you're throwing your fourth best starter out there. And that's the way Florida was miserable in those midweek games last year. That's why they needed to win 2 out of 3 from Georgia, because you can't there's a rule, you can't go to the NCAA tournament unless your overall record is 500 or better. Well, they went and then made it to Omaha. So you just got to make sure your overall record is better. That's why, even though you need to get to 12 or 13 wins in the league, it sure would help to have a resume. That one win over FSU is a resume builder. The more the merrier. So we'll see what winds up.
And like you said, last year FSU swept them.
Yeah.
So they had nothing helping them out of conference, really. So, if Florida can get a win tonight, certainly that'll that'll make people start to forget about an 0-6 start in SEC play.
And by the way, not only did FSU sweep them last year, but FSU beat the heck out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the games weren't even close. So in just a moment, by the way, we're going to have Mayor Donna Deegan is going to throw out the first pitch. And again, Kennard Leroy Jr., a walk-off, plays on one of our walk-off teams. He plays for the Forest View Marlins. He's 7 years old. And by the way, Donna's going to have on her FSU gear, as she should.
Sure.
So even though Kennard showed up in his walk-off gear, he's got Gator gear on. So he's a good walk-off player that we're representing the Gators as well. So we appreciate that. That comes up in just a bit. All right, let's say hello to our friend Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Rick Ballou joins us. Rick, you got Gators and Knowles getting it on here. It's always good when the Gators and Knowles get together, isn't it?
Yeah, fun game out there, no doubt about it. Great crowd, great night for a ball game. So let's get after it and see what happens. These midweek games, you never really know.
Boy, and it really is, Rick. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night out here, and we can't wait to get it going. I had Eric Llewellyn on, our old friend. He said to tell you hello. Can you believe he's done FSU games for 19 years now, Rick? Did you realize that?
No, I didn't, and that's amazing. I love the, Professor Lee Bowen, who I started with back in 1993, 94, and he passed many, many years ago. I was in Chicago when I got that phone call, but I'm really happy for Eric Llewellyn. I work with him as well, and I had no idea it has been 19 years for the Sports Barbarian. So, maybe he can finally call a World Series. It's kind of crazy that they haven't won it. Lee Bowen had all those great calls and under Mike Martin, and they always found a way to fall short. But maybe under Link Jarrett, things will take a turn here for the better.
It certainly has that look about it, I will tell you that. They look like a team with culture and talent and all of that, so we'll see if that winds up happening. And again, Eric made sure he's a big fan of yours. Make sure to say hello. So it was good to see him today. What's coming up on the show tonight, Rick?
Yeah, we got a lot. We'll keep everyone updated on this game, no doubt about it. Another NFL draft analyst coming up at 6:25, so we'll give you the very latest there, and really some talk with quarterbacks and getting the sense now that teams are beginning to panic just a little bit. It's a yearly occurrence with the NFL draft. You can do what you want with these mock drafts, but there's always a team, maybe two, that once you get on the clock on that Thursday that are going to find a way to get their guy and therefore move up. So we'll try to dive into that tonight. Also got a very good Jaguars-related topic that I think our listeners will enjoy. So all of that's coming up here in just a couple.
All right, Rick. Sounds good. Thanks, buddy. Rick Ballou goes into the night, and that comes up right now. One more time, we're live at the ballpark. Thanks for joining our show today. We're at the baseball grounds. What a gorgeous, gorgeous night. If you're not on your way out here already, shame on you, unless you're already here. We're out of here. What a great night. Glad to be here on an Nimnik Tuesday. For Hays Carlyon and JJ LaSelva, I'm Frank Frangie. Don't go anywhere. Rick Ballou is next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.